I'm Ben Arfman. I was the writer-director of Random Stop.
I'm JP Gastel as a producer on Random Stop.
About a year ago, I was really fixated on gun control. I think that it's become a really big topic in America today, and I was spending a lot of time online looking through web forums on the topic, and I wound up stumbling upon the story of Kyle Dinkeller's murder. I saw the dash cam footage of the crime, and it really struck me. It really got under my skin in a way that I couldn't forget about.
Put the gun down!
When I started figuring out what I wanted to do for my senior thesis film at UCLA, this story just wouldn't get out of my brain, and it seemed like it had started a lot of conversations for me, a lot of reflection for me. If I could take that story and turn it into something that would do something similar for an audience, that seemed like it was something worthwhile.
1078. 1078. I'm hurt, but I think I'm okay.
My name is Justin Perkinson. I am the director of photography for Random Stop. The reason that I chose first-person cinema as something I really wanted to explore is that while it's fairly mature in the video game world, from a first-person movie-making storytelling standpoint, first-person cinema is, I think, still relatively new. It's still emerging. And so I wanted to help shape the language of how you tell a story from the first person's point of view.
When Ben had come to me with the project and said, I want to shoot all POV, I was like, number one, no. With POV, you can't cut in, you can't cut. It has to be completely planned out.
Which camera, which accessories, which lens, how do you rig it? How do you operate the camera when you're wearing it? How do you light a space when you're moving through it in almost 360 degrees?
To try and approximate this idea of first-person point of view, me and my director of photography, Justin Perkinson, started on a parking garage roof using a 5D bolted onto a motorcycle helmet.
Drop your weapon, sir.
We didn't really find something that worked perfectly for us, something that was in our price range, that was cinematic, and that had some of the flexibilities that we were looking for to tell our story. We had leads and we had ideas and we knew that this was possible, but we still didn't have our camera. That's when our producer, JP, had researched previously the End of Watch movie and knew that Radiant Images had helped them with their new SI2K nano camera.
And it was really once we started working with Radiant and the people there that the film found a direction.
Our full camera rig, or full technical rig, was the SI2K nano camera that was mounted on a custom helmet. Beneath that rig, my first step was to wear these goggles that had a military-grade tack eye that would slot a screen over my eye so that I could see what it is that I was filming. Pretty crude, standard def, like 4:3 almost, framing, but I could get a sense of what it was that I was framing. That was connected to a backpack brain of the camera, basically kind of a computer that we had rigged with Radiant's help into a hard plastic framing. Most of the time I would wear that. Otherwise, my second AC, Shamsi Luna, would have it tethered and be wrangling that.
Hold up, guys. I want to get strapped in all the way, okay?
Ben and I spent, oh God, like 3 months trying to find the perfect place, something that was remotely similar to Georgia.
I mean, that was crazy. We were going out every weekend, usually Saturday and Sunday, for about 4 to 5 hours, trying to find locations that would work, that had very specific requirements. Because when you're shooting a normal movie, because you have cuts, you can string locations together that are spread apart in the actual physical world. But for our movie, the highway that we were shooting our chase on actually had to be connected to the dirt road that we were turning off on to do the end of the film.
Then we found the perfect location. We had to figure out, okay, what does the sun look like? Where is the cutoff point where it doesn't look like it matches? So what we did was Ben and I split the duties and the time shift here, and we did like a 16 hour light map of that location.
Justin was playing the body of the cop, and he's actually saying the lines of the cop. And he's having to interact with Brian Krause, who plays the veteran Andrew Brennan. Just behind Justin, there was Jeff Kennedy, who's playing the voice of the cop, and Jeff really laid down a lot of the beats and the sequencing of the beats.
We decided the way to shoot it would be to rehearse.
Drop your gun now! Shit! Shit! One, two, three!
We had to take these 7 separate shots that we shot, and we had to stitch them together in a way that nobody would see any of the cuts.
This is a transition between shot 2 and 3. The transition happens here where he looks through the window and sees this car fly by. Essentially, each shot has an A side, which is the beginning of the shot, and a B side. So you'll see when he looks up, we have the first car and then the second car here, which is the BMW. So looking at shot 3, he sees this initial first car pass, and when he's turning his head, we notice the BMW is on this side, and then that car passes. It bleeds in with a mask, and the frame is essentially right here in the actual comp. And we're using a 3D camera on top of that to push into these shots. That's why it's kind of like a pan and scan. We ran into this problem, which you'll see here, where you've got the original pace car, and then you've got the Beamer flying by, and then you have it flying by again. To solve that issue, we did some masking. So you kind of see here what we're working on. This is the kind of mask that was generated. It fades in to cover up that section. At Light Iron, we ended up working with Ian Vertovec, which is just an incredible artist. He's done a lot of great films, and he was so excited to do our film, and I think he really brought the color out, which was wonderful.
That was kind of the essence of filmmaking for me, is telling a really powerful story and telling it with collaborators that you admire and respect. And having challenges that you're having to deal with but work through, and then you succeed.
That was pretty amazing. I hope we got it.
I'm going
They
to
told me we did.
Disneyland.
Some of the strongest responses we've actually gotten are from law enforcement officers, and they feel like we've done justice to the story and that we're doing good work that they support in increasing awareness of what happened to Kyle in the hopes of avoiding something like it in the future.